Janos Slynt starts losing his mind. He's like, the beast, look! The beast that killed the half-hand. A warg walks among us. A warg, I tell you.
What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. I'm Nate. Joining me as always, my co-host and a brother, Zach. That's Zach.
Me.
You're Zach.
Me.
You got it. There it is.
I was looking at my book.
He's looking at his notes.
Also, it's weird that you co-host first and then brother. Like,
I prefer it that way.
we were technically brothers first, but okay, whatever, you fucking weirdo.
I don't like your attitude right now. So, apparently today is the day for ambient noise.
I fucking guess so.
You know, you try to record.
Piss off Zach Day.
You do everything you can to soundproof properly, but if you hear anything odd, it's because, I don't know, people are rude to us today.
People
Jerks.
are fucking stupid and can't keep their shit down.
Yeah. Fuck them. If you've joined us before, you know that we are full spoiler. We will be discussing A Song of Ice and Fire in its entirety. Mostly about this point in time, but other stuff might come up, and we'll talk about it.
We've read it before. We're assuming you have too. So if you haven't, you might get spoiled. You might not, but you're taking that risk, not us. So you've been warned. You
Right.
done been warned.
Last episode we were reading Sammy
boy.
Sammy?
Samwell. Sam, what did Sam do? Sam is finally starting to play the Game of Thrones a little bit, but it's more like the game of Lord Commander, because
It's like you have Monopoly and then you have Monopoly Junior, and so it's the wall is Game of Thrones Junior. And yeah, Janos Slynt brought some of, well, he tried to bring some of the South and the politicking up here to the wall, and so he's been messing around with all the people backed by Alliser Thorne, and he's getting other people to drop out of the running for Lord Commander, and Sam decided to start putting his fingers in the pot and had himself some chats with a couple of the other contenders. Was it Othel Yorwick and Dennis Malliser?
Yeah.
I believe were the two, saying like, you guys, you're not gonna win, so maybe you should back the other guy. And they were like, nah, I ain't backing that fucking dude.
Stannis is putting pressure on people because he wants things with the Watch. He wants their castles. He wants the gift. And so he needs a Lord Commander so that can be happening. He also wants Jon as his Lord of Winterfell. So Stannis is putting pressure. Sam is using Aemon's name as clout, and
Aemon is doubting Lightbringer being real. I like he's casting shade all over Melisandre and Stannis' church dwellings.
Aemon just ain't no fool. And so that was where we left Sam, and then we're immediately following that up, still at the wall, with Jon's final chapter, Jon 12. Last we left Jon. Jon is being all angsty because he's been kind of ousted from his duties as a brother of the Night's Watch, as everyone thinks he's a turncloak and a traitor, even though we all know as readers that he's the most real motherfucker on the wall. And
yeah, because that again, the last Sam chapter really rides well into this chapter because we've got so much of the knowledge, so we don't need the explanation as to why Jon is in the training yard, but we get that he's in the training yard with Iron Emmett, who's just a fucking badass. You know, I don't think we've ever given him enough credit on this show, but
well, he's pretty new.
He's the Eastwatch's Jon, essentially. Yeah. He's the master swordsman over there. He's their bragging rights. So that's who Jon has decided to take up arms against, because he's the only one that actually gives him a good challenge out here in the training yard.
Yeah, he's the pride of Eastwatch. He's a lanky little guy, just like Jon. And it's fun with the iron in his name. The iron is pretty much what Stannis is compared to a lot. He's iron, he'll break before he bends.
Right.
And Jon will also kind of be that way when he gets stabbed by his brothers of the Night's Watch.
True that.
And so it's a fun opener. Jon is kind of getting his ass kicked by Iron Emmett. He likes to think he gives as good as he gets, but today he didn't really sleep much last night because he's been thinking about Stannis' offer, and so he went for a little walkie walk, and that's catching up to him now because Iron Emmett is kicking his ass. Yep. He catches a sharp hit to the head, which triggers a memory for him, so like a little concussion, no biggie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just little Jon and little Robb in the yard playing swords. I mean, they're not playing, they're training, but they're playing. And that makes me, it's when you're kids and you're, I'm this Ninja Turtle or I'm that Power Ranger, and they're calling out which knights they are, great knights and kings and swordsmen, and battling each other until Jon was like, one time, I'm gonna be the Lord. I'm Lord of Winterfell.
The fuck you are.
Fucking excuse me. Robb was not having it.
Yeah, Robb shut that shit down.
His dad's leg was broken, and he was pissed.
You can't be Lord of Winterfell. You're bastard born. My lady mother says so because she fucking hates you.
Bro, we're playing pretend. Can we play pretend?
Can I have it just for like a minute?
It's the pretend. You fucking.
Jon thinks he had forgotten that, but the blow to the head clearly jostled that little memory loose.
Is that a real memory, or like that's like his guilt rising up when he got cracked in the head that makes him think, oh, well, I'm not supposed to, so I'm going to put it in
the phrasing is like that morning he called it first. I'm Lord of Winterfell. He cried as he had 100 times before, only this time Robb had answered, you can't be. So yeah, I do think it's a legit one.
Sure.
And it sounds like, it's probably toward the end of them playing at swords like this, and it's when Robb and Jon are starting to get more into the tween ages, and so Catelyn was probably with Robb one night and was like, fuck that Jon, he can't
I just
fucking
also
inherit.
Picture it happening where Catelyn's out in the yard and hears them playing, and it's almost like she hears him say the F word, and she's like, no, you're done, stop, enough,
End it. In the end, Halder and Horse had to pull him away from Iron Emmett because Jon goes banana sandwich on him because of this memory.
Yeah, I think while he was concussed, he just starts giving the ever-living beating to Iron Emmett, and he was like, yo, don't you know what yield means? Like, you got me, bro. Fucking chill.
Yeah, it's said amiably enough, but Jon kind of gets his ire up because of this memory, which is sort of where Jon is sitting. He's feeling like he can't take Stannis' offer on a deeper level because he can never be Lord of Winterfell, let alone having to like torch the Godswood and all that. But he's just, I'm not worthy.
It's not just that he doesn't want it, it's that I can't have it.
Emmett says now he knows how Corran must have felt, LOL, and that hurts Jon a little bit more. That's too much for him, so he wrenches free of his friends and kind of regresses back to his A Game of Thrones Jon Snow and storms off to the armory alone.
Right, little angst pot.
And he sits on the bench and buries his hand in his head, and he's wondering why he's so angry. But he then is like, oh, it's the Winterfell thing. I could be Lord of Winterfell. But it's Cat's face he sees, not Eddard's when he's thinking about it, because he thinks I could be my father's heir finally. But he's seeing Cat. And then Cat, he thinks, kind of looks a little bit like Stannis. Iron, he thinks, but brittle. And she's looking at him the way she used to look at him at Winterfell whenever he bested Robb at swords or sums or most anything. Who are you? That look always seemed to say, this is not your place. Why are you here? And that's pretty much Jon's entire mantra for Winterfell.
So it's kind of strange that all of a sudden Catelyn would be so prominently focused right now when, not next chapter, which is Sansa, in the final chapter of this book, by the way, we have the epilogue where we have the rise of one Lady Stoneheart, which may be happening concurrently as this, and so it's, here she comes, and on top of that, we're going to be getting the GNC starting up, and she will be the one who is technically, if that's going correct, the one who is advocating for Robb's final words of making him the Lord of Winterfell and legitimizing him. And so I just really think it's interesting that she just all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, he is thinking about taking lordship of this castle that she fucking refused to acknowledge him about, so it makes sense, but It's been a while since we've heard
it's
him thinking about her
very
specifically.
interesting that Catelyn is coming up in Jon chapters because we know their history, but yeah, she's dead. And she will be returning to life here in a little bit, and we know the Wall is dealing with lots of things returning back to life, and comparing her to Stannis with the blue eyes is very interesting. And
yeah, so Jon's fouled and decides he does not want to see his friends, so he takes the back way out of the locker room and down into the wormways so that he can
take a cold plunge.
Man, the wormways are just cool. Just having a whole underground network, and I know we've talked about it in the past, but fuck, those are just cool and weird and creepy and awesome all at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to take a nice warm bath.
Yeah, he takes a cold plunge first, which is badass. Just fuck that noise. That's got to be frigid at the Wall. And then he goes and soaks in the tub, and he's thinking about Winterfell and the pools and the bubbling, steaming Godswood, and he thinks how Theon left it broken and burned, but he could restore it. And surely Robb and his father would want it restored. They wouldn't want it left in ruins, and he could do that at least. But then he hears Robb again saying, "You're bastard born," and the Stone Kings were growling at him with their granite tongues, saying, "You don't belong, this is not your place." And so he's picturing the heart tree with its red eyes and pale limbs and red leaves, and it's the heart of Winterfell, Eddard always said. But in order to save the castle, Jon would have to tear that heart up by its roots and give it to the Red Woman's hungry fire god. And so he thinks, I have no right. Winterfell belongs to the old gods. That's a pretty hefty price to have to pay to uproot and burn the weirwood tree.
Yeah, and we'll get more on that. Again, I think George did a master act with these last 4 or 5 chapters and tying them all together, because Sansa, in her chapter that we're going to read next episode, is when she builds the castle, she mentions how the heart tree is the heart of the entire keep, similar to exactly what Ned told Jon back in the day. And so I really like that they're all kind of tied into the Winterfell theme right now.
Jon overhears some chit-chatting, and he hears Alliser's voice, and Bowen of Marsh's, and a couple others, and they take note of Jon. Jon takes note of them, and Alliser's like, "What are you doing here?" And Jon's like, "Yeah, don't let me stop your fucking scheming and plotting.
I was taking a bath, bro. Just get on with your fucking conspiring."
Fuck off. Yeah, and he leaves. Outside, he's got no idea where he's going, but he begins to just kind of wander, and we go on a tour of pretty much Jon's whole
to me it's just
journey here.
What's the song that we remember, the high school graduation song? He thinks that he's going to get beheaded or be done here, so he's just going through all his little hot spots and favorite places that he visited throughout his Night's Watch career. But yeah, finally finds his way outside of the gate on the north side of the Wall.
Yeah. Only then does he give himself some time to stop, take a breath to think. He thinks that he's thinking about the Lord Commander's decision.
Yeah, still doing the Stannis thoughts. He's checking out the camp off to the right, seeing where Stannis is keeping his prisoners, as well as the pit where they were burning the bodies. That,
whoopsie.
At least they're doing that. Not even as a courtesy. It's because they need to make sure the dead don't come after them, but also the courtesy to the wildlings of burning the bodies as they requested.
Yep.
Jon just kind of wanders across the battlefield, seeing the little remnants left behind, before finding a nice little a stump.
Yeah.
Hey, look, stump.
He thinks Ygritte wanted me to be a wildling. Stannis wants me to be Lord of Winterfell. But what do I want? Which, that's the ticket, Jon. That's the question. The sun begins to go down, and Jon is watching it as it's changing the ice wall to the reds and pinks of sunset, and thinks that would he rather be hung as a turncloak by Lord Janos, or forswear his vows, marry Val, and become Lord of Winterfell. It seems an easy choice, but if Ygritte had still been alive, it might have been easier still. He would just run away with her. Val is still a stranger to him, he thinks, but she's not hard on the eyes. She's hot as fuck.
Yeah, I really like the way that Jon kind of contemplates all of this. I liked that specific line that you'd read, the would I rather forsake my vows or be beheaded as a turncloak. And it's almost that, the decision that Ned had as well, but it was Ned still flopped it all anyway, and so that's why he's dead.
Yeah.
But I also like how Martin kind of rolls into the ghost coming, which is obviously happening here, as we're full spoiler, surprise.
Yeah.
And like how naturally John just kind of absorbs these feelings and emotions as his own, and how they all kind of carry over.
Yeah, because he's thinking, I would need to steal Val if I actually wanted her love, but she might one day give me children. I could hold a son of my own blood. A son was something he had never dared to dream of since he had lived his life as a bastard. He didn't want to inflict that. He could name him Robb, and Val would want to keep him with her sister's son. They could foster him at Winterfell and Gilly's boy as well, so Sam would never need to tell his lie and send Gilly's son down to Hornhill. We could find a place for Gilly, too, and Sam could come visit. Mance's son and Craster would grow up as brothers, as I did with Robb once. He wanted it, Jon knew then. He wanted it as much as he had ever wanted anything. He'd always wanted it. He thinks guiltily, may the gods forgive me. It was a hunger, a sharp as a dragonglass blade, a hunger, he could feel it. It was food he needed, prey. A red deer that stank of fear, or a great elk, proud and defiant. He needed to kill and fill his belly with fresh meat and hot dark blood. His mouth begins to water from the thought.
Yeah, so
even he's like, what's going on?
What's happening?
What am I doing?
I think this is one of those times where Martin is using this as the subtle foreshadowing, where he does need to leave the wall and join the battles to the south and start handling business, ruling Winterfell.
Yeah, his Starkness is too much. It's never gonna leave him. He's always gonna crave avenging the Starks, protecting the Starks.
Yeah.
Defending the Stark lineage, defending the Stark home of Winterfell. Yeah, it's always going to be too much a part of him to ignore. And then here comes the goodest boy ever. Ghost comes padding out of the woods.
He's like, what the fuck's up, Jon? Hey, I'm here, man.
They have a sweet reunion. He was leaner than Jon last saw him, but bigger as well, and he makes no sound but the crunch of dead leaves beneath his paws. He leaps into Jon's arms, and they wrestle amongst the brown grass in the long shadows, the stars coming out above them. As we know, Dothraki custom, all things of import happen beneath the stars. And he asks Ghost where he's been. I thought you died on me, like Robb and Ygritte and all the rest. I've had no sense of you, not since I climbed the wall, not even in dreams. So the wall is the barrier.
Right,
It cuts off those things. We also... we learned that in Fire and Blood with Alysanne and her dragon that refused to fly over the wall. It's a big blocker. Not even in dreams. And the direwolf, of course, has no answer, but gives Jon's face a lick. And his eyes caught the last light of the sun and shone like two red suns. Red eyes, Jon realizes, but not like Melisandre's.
So cool.
Like the werewoods.
Right.
And
like the heart of Winterfell.
Right. This is where Jon is like, oh, right, my wolf is a werewolf. It's a werewolf.
Right, one white wolf out of 6. Like, that had to mean something, and I'm sitting up here north of the wall with this badass. He's like, bro, let's go home.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
He had his answer then, which, of course, means he can't burn the werewood. He cannot take Stannis' offer and become Lord of Winterfell.
Yeah, he says that he can't because Winterfell is not his to burn. It belongs to the old gods.
And just like Ghost does, Ghost belongs to the old gods. And so beneath the wall, the Queen's men are kindling their night fire. Melisandre emerges from the tunnel with the king to lead the prayers, and Jon calls Ghost to him and, says, "You're hungry. I know. I could feel it." And so they run together for a while, and...
Yeah, skirt past the whole Stannis and Mel meeting because he doesn't want to deal with that shit right now. Heads back in and comes across a bunch of fuckers.
Yeah, a bunch of the King's men note Jon as he goes by and gape at the wolf, and most of them never having seen a dire wolf before.
Yeah, this is just a power play. Like, the swag of walking out as Jon, like, having all this discussion about you and behind your back, turn cloak. He traveled with the wildlings. He climbed the fucking wall. Oh, he's known to have had a wolf. He might be a war. And then all of a sudden you come walking from north of the wall
north, right,
with a fucking dire wolf who's grown. It's as tall as Jon is. Like,
right.
he's a fucking huge
yeah.
wolf. And these guys are like, and Jon's just like, yeah, buddy, we're going to go get you a bowl, big old bowl of dog food, and we'll get you a bone, and it's going to be so good. And they're just like, I just shit my armor. I'm going to go and change now.
Jon looks up and sees Val standing in her tower window and thinks, I'm sorry, I'm not the man to steal you out of there. There's, of course, the imagery of the princess in the tower, Val being up there.
And the irony that Jon is absolutely the guy who could be the one to, like, not that they should belong together, but if he wanted to, he could steal that bad bitch. He's capable of stealing.
He could, but
no, again, they're not.
His destiny is greater.
They're not made for each other,
right.
So he wouldn't. But that's what makes it so that he would be the one that could if he ever wanted to.
Yep. In the practice yard, there's some bullshit with the Kingsmen sergeant looking at Ghost and scowling, and a couple of them want to start to lower their spears until the sergeant's like, no, let him pass. And then he says to Jon, you're late. And Jon's like, then get out of my way.
Come on, Rent-A-Cop. You're blocking the path.
He does. And Jon enters into the latest choosing.
Yeah, the Great Hall is silent, though. It is also empty of food, which he's like,
well, it's not silent because
sorry, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I meant it's
enters,
not what he
Jon
thought.
Enters silently,
and it's
pretty
loud.
Much, yeah.
But he's confused because there's no food, there's no dinner. He didn't hear yet that they're going to be confined and locked in here until they choose.
Janos Slynt is bellowing about turncloaks and treason. Iron Emmett stands on a table with a naked sword in his fist. Three-Finger Hobb is cursing a ranger from the Shadow Tower. An Eastwatch man is slamming his fist onto the table again and again, demanding quiet. Pip is the first to see Jon, and he grins at the sight of Ghost, which I love.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, he's back.
Oh, fuck. Well, he also is as doofus as little Pip is, he's clever enough to be like, that's what we needed right there, was that, like, the mascot's back with Jon, too. Like, and Jon has no idea he's walking into this all-star game.
Yeah, it's the aura thing that the kids all say of, like, there's Jon, like, coming in as this badass commander with a fucking wolf now.
Well, it's funny because Varamir has his whole pack. Jon's now walking around with the wolf, the fucking raven on his shoulder. He's collecting his own little menagerie.
Pip does a whistle and cuts through the clamor. As Jon begins to walk toward the tables, more brothers take note and fall quiet until a hush spreads through the cellar, and the only sound is Jon's heels clicking and the crackle of the logs in the hearth.
Hey.
Alliser Thorne is the first one to break the silence, saying the Turncloak graces us with his presence at last, and Janos Slynt starts losing his mind. He's like, the beast, look! The beast that killed the half-hand, a warg walks among us, a warg, I tell you! And starts complaining that Jon is not fit to lead. Ghost bares his teeth, but Jon's just like, no, we're good, Ghost.
That's all right, Ghost.
And Jon's like, my lord, will you tell me what's happened here? And Aemon is the one who answers and says, your name has been put forth as Lord Commander, Jon. And Jon
looks at Pip. He's like, you motherfucker. Yep. You think you're funny?
It's so absurd, Jon had to smile. And he asks, by who? And looks for his friends. And yeah, he thinks this had to be one of Pip's japes. But Pip just shrugs. Gren shook his head. It's Dolores Ed who stood, and he says, by me, a terrible, cruel thing to do to a friend, but better you than me.
Yeah, right, because he's had it done to him by Pip, and so it is funny that he's like, no, fuck that. If I have to put up with the joke of it, then Jon, the joke of it for you is that you'll actually get fucking voted.
Right, you'll have to do it. Janos again starts bitching and saying we ought to hang him and, hang him for a turncloak and a warg along with his friend Mance Rayder. I'll not have it. And
that line fucking sets them ablaze.
Cotter Pike especially is like, you won't have it. Might be those gold cloaks are trained to lick your ass, but you're wearing a black cloak now and we all choose. So And Dennis Mallister seconds that, where he's like, Tollett is well within his rights to vote for Jon, so fuck you. We all vote however we want.
Yeah, and then even Alliser calls for silence and is like, a vote then? Like, should we be, can we do this then? Let's
Yeah, because this is where Alliser reveals that this king who has taken the King's Tower has posted men at all the doors to see that we do not eat nor leave till we've made a choice. So be it. We will choose and choose again all night if need be until we have our lord. But Othel Yorwick has something to say, and this is where Othel pulls out his name from the choosing. He's withdrawing. Which
is also funny because Janos interrupts him and is like, good, see, yes, I see you've come to your senses. He's like, yo, shut the
Well, yeah, because he was...
Let me finish.
He was going to say, those who were casting a token for me should choose Janos Slynt. And Alliser's like, yep, Lord Slynt. And he's like, no, I'm not done.
Hold up.
Lord Slynt commanded the city watching King's Landing. We know he was Lord of Harrenhal. And then someone's like, he's never seen Harrenhal. Ha ha ha. And Yarwick says, now that I'm standing here, I don't recall why I thought Slynt would be a good choice. That would be sort of kicking Stannis in the mouth, and I don't see how that served us. Might be that Snow would be better. He's longer on the wall, Ben Stark's nephew, and serve the old bear as squire. Pick who you want, just so long as it's not me. And yeah, that of course Alliser is like, fuck.
Also, something that we kind of glossed over, I believe, unless I was just ignoring your voice, which happens. When Jon was in the bathhouse listening and hearing Thorne, they were specifically discussing that Alliser was getting correspondence from Tywin. Letters stating that Janos is their friend, he's the one that they should be backing to support, and explaining, well, Tywin's already beat Stannis twice, so why should we really give a fuck what he thinks about Janos? Tywin's the boss. Tywin's dead!
Yeah, Tywin ain't shit.
And so I think that's very fun and funny. Fuck you, Alliser.
Stale news. Yeah. So the cry goes up for the kettle, and so the kettle is brought in by Maester Aemon calling to Sam and Clytus, so they go over and drag it over, and brothers are already beginning to line up as Clytus takes the lid off and almost drops it on his foot because there's a fucking and a huge raven flies up and out and goes to fly to the window or the rafters.
It's the little can with the snake that launches out of it. It's not even a real raven. It just, or at least that's the story that Janos is going to try and tell.
Circles the hall 3 times, can't find anywhere to land, so it lands on a table near Jon, starts to croak Snow, and Sam is like, oh yeah, that's Mormont's raven. And, Snow, and then it flies to Jon's shoulder, and this is where Janos Slynt sits down so heavily it made a thump. But Alliser Thorne tries to make this less of a telling sign, and he's like, oh, Piggy set this up. He trained the bird this trick. They all say Snow. And he's like, I know Mormont's bird said more words than that. And so the bird is like, yo, fuck you.
On corn, yeah. It's like, on corn. On cue, it's straight up, yeah. Shut the fuck up, Thorne. I got something to say. Kettle. Corn. Snow, bitch. Get out of my face.
And so the rest was arrowheads, a torrent of arrowheads, a flood of arrowheads. Arrowheads enough to drown the last few stones and shells and all the copper pennies, too. I do like that Jon is arrowheads. It's similar to the dragon glass ones he found.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Jon wins by a fucking landfall.
No
contest. When the count is done, Jon finds himself surrounded. Some clapping him on the back, others bending the knee to him as if he were a lord in truth. There's no foreshadowing there.
Yeah, I do. It's every one of the Night's Watch are all for it. They're cool. That's the way that the process has always gone. You won. We're happy for it. Yep. They're not Janos Slynting about it and, fake news, election was rigged. This is bullshit. No, none of that. It's, all right, here's your chance.
Some of them are good-naturedly ribbing him, it's like,
don't fuck it up.
Yeah, don't fuck it up. Oh, does this mean I can't beat the piss out of you the next time we train? And Hobb is like, are you going to be eating with the men, or should you going to be taking your meals up in your fucking solar all alone?
Right.
And so, yeah, there's not at all any hard feelings except for, the shit crowd.
The people that are going to murder him.
Right, exactly. The crew that is going to plot his demise.
Yeah.
And so Dennis Mallister kind of goes through his whole thing of like, I've had to step down and step aside, and I always thought my time would come with Lord Corgyle. I told myself, you'll have your time. With Mormont, I told myself, I'll have your time. But now with you, Lord Snow, I got to return to the Shadow Tower knowing that my time will never come. So don't make me die regretful. Your uncle was a great man, your Lord Father, and his father as well, so I expect full as much of you. And so it's interesting right there because Jon has been the whole chapter worried about being his father's heir and taking over Winterfell, but by becoming Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, Dennis Mallister is like, you have every opportunity to be just as great as man as they were.
Yeah, it's also very fun in the fact that, unless I forgot, Jon will likely be dying before Mallister anyway, and so technically his shot may come up again anyway, and that'll be the time that Jon heads south and kicks the crap out of Ramsay.
Yep. And so the call goes up for supper. The Raven takes it as well. Supper. So the king's men clear the door when they told him of the choosing, and they go to Hobb, takes his men down to the kitchens to begin fetching the food. But Jon doesn't want to eat. He begins to walk the castle, wondering if he's dreaming, with the Raven on his shoulder and Ghost at his heels. Like you said, it's very Varamir coated. Just this warg all decked out in his animals. Although we know that one is probably already currently occupied by someone. Blood Raven. Gren, Pip, and Sam are trailing after him.
I love that it's his little buddies.
Jon is hardly hearing a word until Gren starts whispering that Sam did it. And Sam the Wizard, Sam the Wonder, Sam the Marvel Man. And Sam has achieved his wizard status. And then they ask, when did you hide the raven in the kettle, Sam? And how in seven hells did you know it would fly to Jon? It would have mucked everything up if the bird decided to perch on Janos Slynt's fat head. And Sam's like, yo, I didn't even know the bird was fucking in there. I nearly shit myself. Like, damn. And that's when Blood Raven in his cave is just like...
You want to know? I honestly think Aemon put that bird in there.
I don't think anyone
I think Aemon put the bird in there.
Sure.
I think he did, and then... I think he was aware and that's the little bit that he can do, because he was telling Sam in Sam's last chapter, sorry, I'm a maester, nothing I can do. But this one raven here, he's kind of annoying me. He's saying snow a lot. I'm going to put him in here to keep him quiet. Aemon would know that crow likes Jon after spending so much time squiring, and, that and the mysticism of it. Aemon can see past the veil and realized that that's what needed to do.
I don't think he sees past the veil, but...
Yeah, me either. But blind. I do think he did put that bird in that kettle.
I don't. I think it's Blood Raven's nonsense.
Nah.
Jon calls them all a bunch of mad fools and laughs with his friends, and it's cute. And Pip's like, you're calling us fools? We're not the one who's the 998th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. And just the way that that's called out feels very significant. Like, we absolutely will be finding the 1,000th.
Right, the 999 and the 1,000, sure.
At some point in this book series. And he says, you best have some wine, Lord Jon. I think you're going to need a lot of it. And so Jon took the wineskin from his hand, but
Lord Jon
only takes a small little hit from it because the wall was his, the night was dark, and he had a king to face.
Is the king the terrors that the night's full of?
100%. Which king, though? Is it, Stannis, or is it the, not in the book yet, but the Night's King, or... Because he's got to reject Stannis' offer. I can't be your Lord of Winterfell. Right. I've got to be Lord Commander. But also, I've got to fight the White Walkers and the others. And that horror.
I really like the way that it leaves here, but I'm also bummed because, as we know, that's the end of Jon for this book.
Yep.
That's the end of Jon for quite some time.
Until he starts setting up his death.
And I'm really looking forward to the interaction between Jon and Stannis right after this moment.
Yeah.
To see that, the respect from Stannis.
Where they're
Stannis
pretty much on equal footing now.
I wish you would have taken my offer, but obviously it played out that way.
Right.
Son of a bitch. All right, well, at least you can negotiate with me now, so let's get this shit done.
And Stannis has said, I don't mean to or want to step on your honors and traditions, so like do your thing. And so now that Jon has been at the one chosen, Stannis kind of has to, by his own admission, respect that.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be a fun dynamic. I do stand by what I said. I think it would have been a lot of fun to see this chapter from Sam's point of view, but it's fine as Jon's last chapter. I think it would have been fun to get a little more explanation or lack thereof of the Raven, of maybe seeing Aemon disappear for a little bit and setting some things up, or just getting Sam's like shock and awe of like, oh shit, there's a Raven in here. I didn't do that. I wonder if anyone did. And us knowing that if it ain't Aemon, then it's Blood Raven and his nonsensory of being like, men are fools and will follow signs, so we'll do this for an extra added bonus because we need Jon Snow to lead the Night's Watch and be smart and let the wildlings through and stop feeding the army of the dead.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a good final chapter. There really isn't much to say about it. Jon's the new Lord Commander.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to what we said about the Red Wedding.
Ghost is back.
This was a big arc to get Jon to the point of Lord Commander. It was this book as a whole for Jon. Same with Sam. It was a huge confidence-building book for Sam, and he took a lot of shit at the wall by himself. He's been without his best friend for a long time now. We did get to see, him bond with Ghost a bit. Now we get Ghost back. We're super excited about that. Just in time for Jon to leave again.
And Jon to start sending all of his allies away and dance like a fucking idiot.
Right.
You go here, you go here, you go here, because that will be Sam and Aemon will be
heading south to
in the next in Feast.
That's it, guys. We've got 2 left before Feast happens. Well, technically we'll be having 3 episodes, but two chapters left. Next chapter will be Sansa 7, her final chapter of the book, and then we have the epilogue, The Rise of Stoneheart. We get to see one of her first kills, Justice. It's happening so fast, and then we're gonna do our big, end of book wrap up.
Yep, discuss what we've learned.
And so I think within those next 3 episodes, we'll also be making some pretty big announcements.
Fucking hopefully.
As to the future of everything.
Who knows?
Everything.
The world's in flux. It's a fucking chaotic shithole out there.
Right, and so we'll probably have a minor break in between Storm here and Feast.
Yeah, very minor, just to get ahead of our recording schedule a little bit. But yeah, we still got 2 more to go in this book, so send us your thoughts, send us your feelings.
Yeah, email us withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com. You can always leave comments on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Like us, subscribe us, rate, review, the whole gambit. We appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one. I think, we're good? You got nothing else either? Yeah.
Galador Harris.
Peace.